Okay, that should have fixed it. That should have fixed it. Oh my gosh. I went off on a spiel. I went off on a spiel without sound. I can't believe it. Well, it isn't a stream until you have a snafu. Until you have a snafu. The funny thing is, I haven't yet brought up the chat. Because, I like to give my little bit, the weekend's more of an informal monologue, but I like to get into that a little bit first. So we completely missed this, but you know what? Sky did the awesome thing. So Sky went and used, as a channel member, you get a free super every month. And by popping up that super, it caught my attention. And so we were able, could you imagine if I went into a full 15-minute monologue without sound? Oh my gosh. That wouldn't be good. All right. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to this week. Let's talk a little bit. It's funny. I had the spiel. I had the movement into the topic. So good. So nice. It was flowing perfectly. And now that's gone. That's gone. The only one who have ever heard that perfect transition was me. That's it. Maybe the cat. Oh, actually, the cat's not even in the room. So not even the cat. Winter didn't even hear it. And the other two cats are never in here during the stream. So anyway, let's. Obviously, the title of this episode is all about energy and AI. So we're gonna get into that. So if we look at Canada as a whole, pretty much the last even the last century, so the last 100 years, most of what Canada has done has been it's revolved around what we've got in the ground. So our economy been built on physical resources. We're talking gold. We're talking silver. We're talking oil. So here's the interesting thing, though. So we all know those are there, and those are all going to be important in the future, especially anything energy related. It's going to be huge. But what if Canada has something else to export? And what if that something is not physical, more tangible, as in computing power? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to bring AI into the mix here. And just give me 1 second. I just have to turn on the Financial Express as well. Guys, just before we get any further into this, if you want to add a show for tomorrow, then we need to, before the end of the show, if we get 4 supers, 4 gifted subs, any combination of, we will do that. And I will also point out, I got a new goat. We got another new goat. It's one I was playing with. I'm not 100% sure on it, but it made me laugh. So I'm going to share that with you guys after, in a little bit. Well, we got time. All right. So, what am I talking about with computing power? Of course, we're talking AI. We're talking data centers. And I got to say, over the last, just recently, over the last couple of weeks, we've already seen several announcements come out that suggest Canada, well, actually even more particular than Canada, Alberta, is becoming one of the more attractive places in North America to build some AI infrastructure. And here's the thing. I think investors are going to be paying attention to that for sure. So why Alberta? Why AI? What's this all about? So AI, obviously, it doesn't run on magic. It runs on, it runs on electricity, right? So AI itself, it's not physical. So, all the prompts, the images, videos, all of that require specialized chips that run in data centers that require a good amount of power. And here's the thing, the AI race itself at this point, it's not even about becoming who has the better software. In fact, a lot of it is who has access to the most energy, because that's going to be the defining line between A software company, so an AI company that does well, is going to be the one that has more energy. Simple as that. And when you put it under that microscope, Alberta really starts to make sense. It does. Yeah, of course, Alberta, when you think of it, your first thought is going to be oil. That's what I think of first. Oil, depending, this time of year I think of the stampede, but oil for the most part. And here's the thing. Alberta has, well, when it comes to energy and energy companies, I mean, they've got abundant natural gas. They got reliable electricity, lots of land. That's a big one. A relatively cool climate most of the year. Existing industrial infrastructure, and a lot of skilled trade workers. Like Alberta's been a magnet for trade workers for so long, and they've, a lot of them, there's a lot of people in Alberta that are not from Alberta. A lot of trade workers there because that's where the work has been. That's where the half-decent pays have been. So I think overall that makes a very compelling combination. And I think big tech is taking notice of it. And they're looking at Alberta and they're going, ooh, here's a place we can use this place. So, I mean, let's just look at recently, and we're talking just within a couple of days. Meta came out and announced that it's going to build its first Canadian data center in Alberta. So this is going to be a $13 billion project. That's huge. And this will actually be one of the largest private investments in Canadian technology infrastructure ever. So the facility, it's planned to be a 1 gigawatt campus with room to expand even further because that was important that they could expand. I like that. That means more work for our tradespeople, means more, more of our, if we're going to be exporting computing power, it means that we'll have more of it to do so. Now, what's really interesting is that when we look, and I mentioned the stampede. So normally when you think about the stampede, it's a lot of the sponsors are those oil companies. You get a lot of oil company sponsorship, but this year it's different. This year we're seeing presence from other companies like Meta, Google, Amazon, all getting in there. So you know that they're paying attention to Alberta. Big tech has pretty much shown up for Canada's biggest energy networking event, because that is what the Stampede is. The Stampede, yeah, there's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of networking at it. It's kind of what the whole thing is about when you look at it from a business perspective. Now, as I mentioned before, AI is going to need a lot of energy. And here's the thing. It's only going to need more and more. Like the amount of energy AI needs is going to grow, unless, of course, we see some kind of a revolutionary chip. There is thoughts that quantum chips might be able to pull down that energy demand quite a bit. But for now, the way it's going, that's what we're going to need. So if you want a new data center, you need access to electricity, transmission, substations, pipelines, backup generation, fiber optics, cooling systems, the whole works. And for that very reason, that's why what we're looking at here, it isn't just a technology story. It's kind of an infrastructure story. And I keep always going back to infrastructure, but I think infrastructure is really, really big. Now, in this whole journey towards AI, this whole journey towards data centers, there's going to be a lot of Canadian winners. And we're basically saying, like, some of the companies, when you're thinking about it, which companies are going to benefit from all of this? Well, our pipeline companies, our utilities, engineering companies. So industrial REITs, and we've talked a little bit about that before. Telecom this could actually be good for telecom. Well, as you know, both TELUS and Bell have been getting their feet into the data center field. So Also, you need to build all this, right? So construction companies and in addition to that, natural gas. I think natural gas producers will also benefit really big because that that may be one of the big ways. Like actually, natural gas will be the big way that we're going to get some cheaper energy for these folks. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Now there are people that are like, "What? We don't need data centers." Um, and there's concerns. There's absolutely concerns. Obviously, some people will worry that if these data centers come in and start eating up all the electricity, then there's none left for the people. And the people are going to pay a premium to get electricity. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the Canadian governments have been very good with this, as in sort of like, make sure you create enough energy. Whether it be, whether you need to build a natural gas flaring plant or something like that. So there is considerations, I think, for that. There's also some people have environmental impacts. A lot of people in the United States who live near these data centers are not very happy. The noise, so noise pollution, some of the stuff coming off of them. So yeah. I mean, they're not the best environmentally, but I'm hoping that a lot of the technology that AI is going to help us develop along the way can sort of filter back on that on that environmental concerns, sort of help maybe a better carbon capture. And we've already seen some improvements on that recently as well. So I think it's an interesting story. I think that it's going to continue. I think it's going to be big. I think it's something that you don't want to ignore. So that's kind of where I see it. Oh gosh, this turned into a full-on monologue. I should have put the monologue sign up. But nonetheless, guys, let's get to the chat. Let's get to the chat, and right off the bat, we've got Samantha in with a super sticker, 149. I love it. I love it. Thank you very much, Samantha. And guys, we have a new Monopoly goat now. I have to go to the new one. Okay, well, thank you very much, Samantha. So we got a whole bunch. I got a new goat, by the way, guys. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it here. I will tell you, I want it. It just doesn't quite look the way I had asked for it. It kind of looks kind of weird. But anyway, let's give this a shot. Here, I got to remove Samantha. Just give me a second here. All right, let's get Samantha off. There we go. That way there. Actually, I think it covers that. I don't think we had to worry about that. All right. Okay, so here's this new goat. Oh boy.
You got this, buddy.
Oh my. Sometimes I think I have too much time on my hands. I might just, that's the argument for that. But nonetheless, holy banana bread. All right, guys, let's get to the comments. Oh, by the way, with that super sticker coming in from Samantha, that does put us 3 away from adding a show tomorrow. All right, and guys, we'll find out what's going to go on with oil too. That will be, about an hour and 45 minutes. We should get the first bits of oil coming in, and that'll be good because then we can sort of see. I have a feeling it could be in the green, because things have been, Donald Trump has been insinuating to make sure that people realize there is no ceasefire. The ceasefire's done, and now there's talk that Iran wants to kill Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is switching planes and all of this other stuff. It's a mess. It is a mess. But all right, let's get to the chat. We can talk about all of that later. I'm in no hurry here. Prairie is in the house first. Congratulations, Prairie. So good afternoon, community. Happy Sunday. Stan says hello, all. And let's see. Prairie says a blistering hot day in Winnipeg today. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty warm here too. I actually don't have a clue what the temperature is here. Give me a second here. Let me just share. I can't believe I did not share the screen yet. All right. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up. Boop, ba doop, boop, bang, bang. Oh no, come on, do it. Do it. Share, share. Okay. All right. There we go. And drop me over here. We'll bring this up. Yeah, weather. Can't believe we're going for the weather. That's not the weather. All right, hold on. Come on, guys. All right, just give me a. All right. I feel it might be warm here because I opened the window before the stream started to see if there was any kind of breeze coming in. There wasn't. So I just ended up closing it again. Oh yeah, so today it's 28 with a 31 humididex, so it's warm. I imagine though it's probably actually. How are you guys doing, by the way, in the prairies? I know that there's been a lot of tornado warnings. Even on Friday, Rory was saying that there was, that he was in some of these warnings. So, Bismarcky says, happy Sunday, fun day all. Hey, Bismarcky, good to see you. Sunny day Sunday. All right. Lisa says, hi, everyone. Watching from the garage today while I do some cleaning out here and smoke some fish. Hope you are all having a good weekend. Awesome. I wonder what type of fish. I wonder what type of fish. All right, and this is where I started the show without sound. I can't believe it. Yes, yes. No sound, no sound. And then Sky came to the rescue and saved us all. Thank you. Thank you, Sky. I actually really appreciate that you let me know. I've watched other streams where somebody's gotten like 20 minutes without sound. I never want it to go that far. But you guys are pretty good. You guys are pretty darn good to get my attention. Scott says we hear you. We now hear you loud and clear. Monologue. Good afternoon. Canada has A to export. Also, Molson export. There we go. Manitoba has a lot of clean hydro energy. Yeah, absolutely. Like there's a lot of Quebec, I think, is another area that, would be good for data centers because you've got cheap hydro. Maybe even New Brunswick if you, because, with the Bay of Fundy, you've got some really cheap, tidal energy generation. I don't know how much they generate out of that, though, but that might be something to keep in mind. Samantha says, good Sunday afternoon, Goat Squad. And Elaine is in the house with a hey, y'all. And guys, we got a super sticker coming in from TA for $2, and that unleashes goat number 2, our Bay Street goat. Up next is the Space Goat. Now that's a new one, by the way. We've actually got a new Space Goat. So I mean, you guys have seen the Space Goat before, like the new one, but it's not the old one. But I still have the old one anyway. We'll figure this all out. We'll figure this all out, and oh my gosh, we're gonna have to figure it out fast because Sky's in with a 139 super sticker, and guys, that unleashes the new Space Goat. All right, where's the new? Here we go. All right, good catch. Okay, Space Goat. And that also, guys, that puts us one away from adding a show for tomorrow. So we're getting pretty darn close to putting Monday in the books. TA says earnings season starts with U.S. banks reporting next week. Yeah. I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping it's going to be good. Scott says we have Schrodinger's Strait. It exists in a state of both closed and opened at the same time. I'll tell you. I think most of the tankers right now, even if Even if Iran says, go ahead, you can go through, I don't think their insurance companies would let them. You know, it's a mess. It is a mess. Actually, right now, when we look at the Strait of Hormuz over here, we are firmly in the closed position right now. But yet there are ships that have transited. So they're still pushing a few ships through, but it is officially closed. All right. Lisa says it's trout. Nice. I like some trout. Let's see. Paul says energy versus infrastructure. Which do you think performs better over the next 18 months? Honestly, I think you should hedge your bet. If you're looking at those two and you're like, which one's going to do better? I think they're kind of going to work together in many ways. So I like them both. Now, I will say this though. Right now, the one proven commodity that we have is we know that there's oil shortages coming. We know that a lot of reserves, so energy reserves, so like for example, this U.S. Strategic Oil Reserve, we know it's really low, like critically low. So energy, I think, is a given. Infrastructure is where everything, it is what we're seeing. We're seeing the infrastructure coming, but energy's kind of already here. So that's kind of the way I would look at it. I would say energy for sure, infrastructure more than likely. All right. And I've caught up. How did I catch up? I don't know. All right, that's weird. That is weird. You guys have gone a little quiet. All right. Well, I want to show you guys something. So, all right. So, whoa, this is not what I wanted to show you, but oh, what is that? That's BlackBerry. I've got a lot of things to show you. So let's first start with. I actually want to take a quick look at Bitcoin. All right, here we go. So really, one interesting thing is, as you guys know, we've been playing this channel here for a while. And here, let me shrink. I'm going to shrink this all down. There we go. So this has been this channel. We've been in it since quite literally the beginning of June. And we've had some movement out. Now, it's really interesting, too. Right now, we're kind of hugging along the top. So it's kind of interesting. So this top resistance is starting to act a little bit like a support. So I'm almost wondering, guys, do we have the beginnings of a smaller channel? And here, let me grab a couple of, oh, you know what? I'm going to make this one. Let's just make it a slightly different color. Let's go purple. Yeah, we'll go purple. So we almost have, and I'm going to bring in the second one. We almost have a kind of a channel like this, like a smaller channel that is kind of developing within. So this is something I'm going to watch. So one of the things that I want to see is I'd actually like to see if this bounces back down through. For me to validate my big channel still, I need this to sort of break through this. But if it does flip on this one again, I'm probably going to start playing that smaller channel. Because, yeah, it seems to be a little interesting for sure. Now, I got other things to show you guys. But first of all, guys, are you able? Oh, wait a minute. No. I was like, am I not in the chat? Are you guys able to type? Because I've got absolutely nothing coming through. I'm like, yeah, nothing. Ever since Sky dropped that 139, nothing has come through. That's odd. That is odd. So I'm wondering if we got another technical issue happening. So, well, no. Here we go. Bismarcky says, so who we cheering for to win the FIFA World Cup? You know what? I'm going to go with, hopefully they're still in it. But isn't Norway, they've been doing that weird row thing. I'm going to go with Norway just for that. It's like, come on, Norway. Viking your way to a win. Let's see it. All right. Oh, we're just quiet today. Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a technical issue. That's fine. And we can have quiet days, and it is the summer. And I will say, the volume on the chats, they kind of do slow down a little bit in the summer. Um, it's actually interesting. Some YouTubers in this space reduce the amount of content they put out in the summer. I do not. I do not. Uh-oh. Norway lost yesterday? Really? Oh. All right, I'm not going for Norway, guys. Who beat them? England? All right. I will go for England. There we go. Why not? All right. Samantha says, what are your current thoughts on Go Easy? And do you want me to go easy on them, Samantha, or should I be just as harsh as normal? As you guys know, I feel like Go Easy is, oh boy. Actually, here, yeah, we'll do it this way. I feel like Go Easy is kind of a little bit on the predatory side, and they had issues with that, and that's part of what caused some of their some of this. This is that big fall that they had, and they have really not shown a lot. Like you can look at this and say they've inched up a little bit, and maybe they have, but I don't think they're going to recover this anytime soon. I don't think the environment is, yes, the economy's looking a little better. Yes, unemployment's looking a little better. But I think people are still behaving like we are in a recession. So I don't think a lot of people are going to be taking out loans to get a new Chesterfield. Um, so I think companies like this, I think they're going to struggle a little bit. They may not, I'm not going to say that they're all going to fall, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of growth. I think you'll see a lot more sideways motion. So if you're looking to get into Go Easy and you're thinking, oh, well, this is huge. Yeah, they'll be back at $110 this year. No, they're not. Next year, probably, I don't know. I can't really, it's hard to predict 2027 right now, but I will just say this year they're not going to go anywhere. In fact, if they had a good year from here, they might get to 60, but I can't see them going much above that. I think right now, I think they're cooked for the year. I think they're cooked. The Epic Coder is cheering for France. Paul, quiet audience today. Come on, ask her some awesome questions. Yeah, well, I do want to give you guys a tour of something later. Um, a tour of TMX. I just want to show you guys some of the features that are there that you guys may not know. Like we look at it a lot, but there's a lot of things it does that you may not be aware of, and we'll look at that when we run out of stuff to talk about. Then we'll go into that. All right. Let's see. Jabe says, "Hi all." Well, hello there. How are you? England beat Norway. Yes, yes, and that's fine. I'm okay with England. They're a jolly old team, I guess. God save the king. The epic coder. I have C&Q in my TFSA, thinking of replacing C&Q with either ENCL or Oily. Do you think it is a good plan? Okay, well, all three of these actually have a different spot. What I mean by that, so CNQ, that of course, Canadian Natural Resources, I love it. That's your pure growth stock. They grow. They don't have a big dividend, but you're going to get, you're going to participate 100% in the upside of oil with that. Also, natural gas as well. So you're getting a bit of exposure to that as well. So C&Q, perfect for growth if that's what you're going for. Now, if you're going for pure income, Oily is in there for you. So Oily is using pretty aggressive covered calls. You're getting a lot of income. That's what you're getting. You're not going to get a lot of growth. And in fact, here, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do it this way. Let's bring up CNQ. All right, here is CNQ, and we'll bring up the last year here, and you can sort of get a general idea. We will also bring up We actually, oily was the next one I started to talk about. Let's bring up oily. Here we go. Perfect. And we'll bring up that 1 year on oily. All right. Now, what you can sort of see is looking at it. You can see this is a lot. Well, this is steeper. I mean, C&Q has done really, really well. Now, oily typically moves sideways, but you'll notice we had this big ramp up, and that's because of the war. So when you look at a fund like oily, even though they have aggressive covered calls, they're only writing covered calls on, I believe with oily, I think it's up to 50%. So the other 50% is still growing, is still capturing, is still participating in the upside. So that's what we're seeing here because of that. But I think once you get out of the war, so once things calm down in the Middle East, we're going to see mostly sideways, but you're going to get some pretty good, you're going to get some good dividends. You'll notice here like 13.875. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But, this one here is more aggressive than ENCL. So ENCL, and I'm going to duplicate this tab, and we'll bring up ENCL here as well. All right, so this one's using leverage, and they also, it's Global X, so they do tend to be, let me pull up the 1 year, they tend to be a little bit less aggressive. They tend to like to give a little bit of room. In fact, with ENCL, let me just see here. I think I actually have, luckily with Global X, we can go in and we can actually see how much room that they're giving, as in the terms of space. So right here with this one here, whoops, here we go. So right now they give, so their covered calls, they write at 3.22%. Their strike price above the spot price. So they're giving you a little bit of extra room in there to grow. So that's fantastic. You're going to get that extra growth in there. And also right now their average coverage is coming in around 40.75. So what that means, because they can write up to 50, but it means that they're choosing not to. They're choosing to let you capture more of the upside. So that's a really big thing with ENCL. So after all of that, it boils down to this. If you are looking for pure growth, C&Q. If you're looking for mostly income, oily, or if you're looking for a bit of both, if you're looking for that hybrid, that growth incomes position, then ENCL, I think, would probably be the more suitable one. There we go. Whew. Tangent done. Samantha says, is SpaceX going back up anytime soon, or is our swing trade sunk? I think the swing trade's going to be a little bit longer than anticipated. Let's go to SpaceX here for a moment. So one of the things that I'm doing with SpaceX is I have started to, all right, here we go. I have started to, why do I have, oh, that's not SpaceX. That's the S&P 500. I'm like, what? It's because of the SP. All right, duh. All right, here we go, SpaceX. All right, now we've got SpaceX. So yeah, SpaceX, I'm kind of in this situation right now with SpaceX that I am, my break even, actually here, let me find out. So this one here, I was going to say, I'm actually doing it on this one here, but this one here we don't really have the, I don't have my boundaries in here, my lines, my supports. But what I'm basically doing in this case here is, and here, let me just drop in a couple. All right, there we go. All right. Now I think I had it sit here, but I'm going to put it like here. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So what I'm basically doing with this right now is my break even is, and I honestly, I don't know what it is right now. Let me find out for you guys. Give me a second. I'm just going to pull this up, and I'm actually pulling it from an email that I send to the channel members every day with what I'm doing with the swing trades. So let's see here. So my break even, okay, my break even's at 33. I'm going to bring in another line here. I'm going to attempt to bring in another line. All right, and I'm going to turn this line, let's make this line green. All right, perfect. All right, so this line is currently sitting at, right there. So that's my break even currently. All right, I'm just going to draw that in. Perfect. Okay, so what I am doing, so obviously right now I'm deep in the red on this trade. So what I've been doing, and I did one step down trade. So a step down trade for me, it's basically I sell, if I get into a channel here, I'm going to sell at the top of this channel and buy back in at the bottom. So if I am able to, and I'm going to give you a real world example here. So I need to do a new one. So I need to get back to the top of this channel. All right, let me just give me a second here. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to make this one. Now let's make it yellow. So let's just say I could get back in here at here. Let's say I'm able to buy back in. Sorry, right now I already hold it. So I need this to come back up if I were to sell. So this is how a step down works. So with a step down, if I could sell it here and buy it back here, what that's going to effectively do is it's going to effectively step my break even down. See, step. If I could do it a couple of times, then all of a sudden, you'll notice I start to build myself so that I don't have as much room to go to get to a profit. So it's a method. It's a method I use. Now you could argue that, well, what's this step down craziness? No, you just took a loss and you started a new trade. Well, yeah, that's exactly what you've done. You've taken a loss, you've started a new trade, but I keep it all bundled together because I want this mass. So maybe there's going to be 20 trades in here, but it will be profitable when I'm done. The overall will be profitable on this when I'm done. That's what I do step downs for. And if I can get, if I could get a situation where, let's say I buy it at the top here, I'm going to bring this back down, and let's say it absolutely tanks. Well, that would be fantastic, because if it did that and I bought it down here, all of a sudden that step down would bring me way down here. And especially if this was more temporary and then it came back up, I'm pretty close. So that's kind of the strategy that I've been using on SpaceX to get myself back into the green on it. It's, like I said, it will take a little bit longer. I don't like it like a lot of times. So if you're a swing trader, sometimes you don't have the luxury to do that. So sometimes you might be like, I can't have that capital all tied up for a month, for 2 months. And that's absolutely true. Like if I had everything in a step trade, a step down, yeah, if at one point I'm going to have to take a loss, and and then just move to something else. So yeah, that does happen. And if you do have limited, if you are limited and you can't afford to get in that, then have an exit strategy when you get into a swing trade. So sort of say, okay, I have a cutoff. This is my, this is where my stop loss is. If I go down there, I'm just taking the loss, moving to my next trade. And that's, that's also a really good way to go as well. So sometimes you can't get caught, you can't afford to always get caught up in these. And I know I will say, I have been feeling it during during this war. This war has made it a lot harder. So, that's it sucks. It sucks because I don't make a lot on YouTube. So I'm like, this is kind of where the money comes from. So yeah, there's a couple times I've been looking at these step downs and been like, I really need to be making money. So anyway, we'll we'll revisit this, I am sure, over and over again. Elaine says, do you think of Microsoft at the moment? Oh, what? Sorry, what? The what part is important. What do you think of Microsoft at the moment? Or like, do you think of Microsoft? It's like, I'm sitting down saying, oh, I'm having a lovely moment. I wonder what Microsoft is up to right now. But no. Let's actually go take a quick gander at good old Microsoft. All right, so first of all, we're going to come in. Oh, I grabbed the CDR. That's fine. It's fine. I just want to look at this here. Actually, let's go to 3 years. So Microsoft, as you can sort of see, now this is the CDR, so ignore the pricing on it, but they have definitely been. Actually, you know what? I'm just trying to think here. I'm thinking like I have them in my swing list, and I got the mark. I think I've got some marks on it. Let's come over to. So this is the regular Microsoft right here. I'm gonna pull this down a little bit here. All right, let's bring this in. Oh, why do I have that support there? I don't know why I have the support there, but I have a support here. So when I'm looking at Microsoft, so one of the things I'm sort of looking at right now is that it actually looks like we may have a pretty big channel going on here. So this could be kind of the movement that we're sort of stuck in right now. Mind you, and here's the interesting thing with this one, is that, we have this channel, so we definitely have some support in this area. We have some resistance in this area, which has also been doubling as support, because look at this here. Right here, it was bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. So in a way, we had a small little channel right in there. So right now we are kind of moving between these two. So what I think we're going to see is Microsoft's either going to drop down to about 350, so I'd say 360-ish. If it doesn't make another bounce back up. So we're going to have a little bit of volatility, I think, in Microsoft, at least for now, until we can get things moving a bit. So when I look at it, though, and here it is from this perspective. So like this here is how I would trade it. And actually, I haven't traded Microsoft in a while because you can see here were my last little things. So let me actually, I'm going to take these. Let's just do that instead of bringing new ones in. So looking at it from this perspective, I wonder. So sometimes you have to play with these a little bit, but right now, I would be looking at a range on Microsoft on the CDR from about 27.55 down to about 26.19. So I might play a little bit in that. But right now, I would want to see at least one more hit off of this. Right now, it's not super clear. Like they've just come out of this big, oh gosh, that's like if you were a really dangerous skier. It's kind of like that kind of a downhill slope. So right now, Microsoft I don't see anything there that makes me want to jump in at this moment. So I will probably watch it for a little bit. All right, now, whoops, I just noticed something. Oh, we got ourselves a super sticker coming in from the wonderful Mary. So first of all, that is our math goat. And that means, according to these equations, we have a show tomorrow. So thank you, Mary. We will be back tomorrow again. At the same time, Mary is our official captain of the like button. So if you've not yet hit that like button, holy banana bread, now's the time. Let's just, you know what, guys? Let's put this like button in orbit. So if you haven't clicked the like button, do it. Every click is like a little bit of juice as we push this thing towards orbit. We'll see what we can do. I like it. I like it. All right. Oh, and I get to have coffee. So good. All right, Paul. I was thinking of the PAVE ETF and the Infra ETF just to have a good mix, both listed on the U.S. stock market. I know I love PAVE. I love the name. So when we look at PAVE, for example, here we go. So PAVE is the Global X U.S. Infrastructure Development Index. So yeah, I mean, the infrastructure thing is not just Canada. The U.S. also has a lot of infrastructure. Now, I think the Canadian infrastructure will probably kick the U.S. overall. But I do like this one. I do like this one as well. And What was the other one you mentioned? Infra. So that's going to be infrastructure as well, right here. So this one is the iShares Environmental Infra and Industrial ETF. So that one is good. Now, if you're looking for one in Canada, that's really, really interesting. Let me just see here. MTRX right here. This, I think, is going to be a really good ETF as we go deeper into this. So this is your Global X, and this is on the Canada side. This is the Global X AI Infrastructure Index ETF. I did a deep dive on it not that long ago. Now, mind you guys, this is not for income. This is for pure up growth. But just to give you an idea, they have been doing fantastic, and I can see this absolutely continuing to do so. Bismarcky, honest truth on Go Easy. I know. I know. Scott has, okay, let's see. England versus that country, and France versus that country. Okay, okay. uh, let's see. Scott, English flag didn't show up on the chat correctly. I don't know. Isn't the English, like, I thought England. You know, if you don't use the UK flag, I thought the English flag for just England was that square, that cross one. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought that was England, but all right. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on energy fuel EFR? Let's take a look. Let's take a good look here. EFR. Let's pull it up here. So Energy Fuels Incorporated. All right. All right. I will say I've not looked at this. Is this an ETF? I know it might be a company. All right. I have not looked at them. All right. They got a really good market cap on them. So 4.8 billion. Great. Let me pull up the 1 year. Okay. So they've been struggling a little bit. I don't know why yet because I don't yet know fully what they do. But let's take a gander here. Let's see here. So they're a US-based critical materials company focused on uranium, rare earth, heavy mineral sands, vanadium, and medical isotopes. Okay. All right. So yeah. Okay. This is starting to make a little more sense. So obviously, this materials has suffered during the war, and we're starting to see that a little bit in here as well. So it is, yeah, it's an interesting company. Okay, it's all full. It's 100% growth, so there's no dividend in there. So yeah, it's interesting. Let me just pull up the key data for a second. Oh boy. Now this part I don't like. I don't like this part, Sky. So I like this part. I like the fact that they don't have any debt. That's fantastic. But they are currently they're unprofitable. So you're looking at a return on equity negative 14.20, return on assets also in the negative. So there's probably a reason for that. A lot of times when I see a problem, a company that's not profitable, a lot of times they also have debt. These guys have no debt, so that makes me think that maybe they purchased something, maybe they did an expansion. I don't know if that's the case. So you want to definitely research that and find out why they're unprofitable. I like what they're doing, though. I do like what they're doing, and I think that there's some potential there. But I would find out why, and then, and also watch and see how they behave once we get a recovery in materials. Oh, I can turn off. Let me turn off the Financial Express because we do have a Monday show in the books. All right, and Mary's back again. Hello, everyone. Did MDA hit bottom or will it drop more? Let's take a look at MDA. And actually, you know what? Let's take a look over here. All right, MDA. There we go. Perfect. All right, perfect. This is what I want. Now, there's a reason I want to see this, and I'll show you why. Is I want to kind of chart out the way that they've been behaving. Because look at this. I can see. I'm just going to bring this down here. Let's grab another one. I can see. Whoa! I don't want to. Didn't want that. Go away trend line. I think I'm on a trend line and not a normal line. That's fine. I can work with this. I can work with this. All right. So I'm looking here and I'm seeing. All right, I am seeing a channel. I am seeing a channel that they're in. Now, they have broken down one time already, and that's kind of what they're doing right now. They've broken down a little bit beneath this channel. Now, you could argue, though, I could even argue you know what, that's probably more accurate right there. So they've just broken through there. We want them to get back up in this channel. If they get back up in this channel, then here's the beautiful thing. So if they get back in, they could potentially get back up to about $65. So, that's not too shabby there. But mind you as well, a company like MDA Space, sometimes you can get more black swan type events, not as in big, and sometimes when you hear the word black swan, you're thinking, what, a disaster? No, no, no. Sometimes it's just that they're in a sector where all it takes is a contract we didn't know that they were going to get all of a sudden pops up and they get a new contract. That can be enough to push them a bit. So you can have a little bit of extra volatility from that. But right now, are they in the bottom? It depends on like I said, it really depends on if they continue breaking down. If this recovers the way they did here, we should be fine. So we might be. We might be. Let's see. Paul says MDA good pick this year. Yeah, no, I like MDA. Actually, I pick companies at the beginning of the year, 5 of them, and MDA was one of the companies I picked. So I'm still happy with that pick. I also picked. What else did I pick? I can't even remember what the 5 were. I think one of them was Algonquin. Algonquin. Actually, let's take a look and see how they've done. AQN. That's another one I picked for this year. All right, let's grab Algonquin. All right, let's come in here. Maybe they've let us down. Maybe they have let us down. And that's fine. I can't always be right. I can't always be right. Where was the beginning of the year? Well, wait a minute. The beginning of the year. Oh, yeah. Beginning of the year was back in here. So when you actually look at from the beginning of the year to where they're at now, they're actually up. So they haven't done quite as much, I think, as I had expected. So I think they'll still, because I'll rate this when the new year comes, I will be rating these. This won't get an A unless, well, there's still half a year left. We'll see. But right at this point, if we did the 6 months on it, they wouldn't get an A. I'd probably give them a C, or a C plus, maybe a C plus. Okay, Lance is in the house. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. What do you think is more likely to cause MSTR to fail collapse? Bitcoin crashing much further, MSTRs or strategies, software revenue collapsing, or legal issues, pushbacks from outsiders? Lance, you have a very negative opinion on strategy for sure. So which would be more likely? Bitcoin crashing, no, I don't see that happening. I mean, Bitcoin, I'm really, I know there's a lot of people saying Bitcoin's going down to like 39. I don't see it. I don't see it. Doesn't mean I'm right, but so, I think, I don't know about the legal issues. I haven't looked too much into those legal issues yet. So could that be the cause? I mean, Saylor's smart. He's really, really smart. Even if there were legitimate issues, I could see him finding a way out of them. I'll give him credit on that. Now their software revenue collapsing. That's probably, even then, I don't think it would cause strategy to collapse. Like, I think strategy's fine. On the long term, I think strategy is perfectly fine. If anything, I could see, so some of these other funds that they've created in ways to, once again, make money for Bitcoin, I could see some of them perhaps running into some problems, but yet, give me more time. Give me more time on that one. Robert says, what do you think of the SpaceX valuation? It's high. It's high. If you were to do a traditional valuation on SpaceX, it's out to lunch because, their assets. When you look at assets, you look at the physical stuff they own, you look at the infrastructure they currently have, it doesn't support the valuation that they have. However, that valuation is based on where people see SpaceX going. And people, because of that, because when they look at, when they look at Mars, they look at the robots, all of that, when they look at all of that stuff, people are sort of saying, oh my God, this is a company that's going to be worth so much more. And that's what's getting priced into their valuation. So it's kind of an odd way to evaluate a company, but that's how the market has evaluated them. And that is, that's a dangerous way to evaluate them. And as you can see and let's go back here, whoops. Well, that's fine. As you can see, actually, I want to go to the real, I have to go over to I'm going to go to the real SpaceX. Let's come over here. There we go. SpaceX, perfect. All right, just give me a second, guys. I had collapsed everything, and now we need to uncollapse stuff. All right, there we go. Perfect. This is what I wanted. So as you can see, I mean, yeah, they came out of the gate like a rocket ship. They came up fast and they died fast. But now they're in a very slow burn towards the downside. We need to get out of this channel. We do need to get out of this channel. Could this right now be a breakdown? No, not yet. Not necessarily, because quite literally, like I could argue, you know what? I could argue that that's a good spot right there. So we need to see how this is going to respond to this. So right now we do have a channel developing, and these lines, guys, don't be worried about the lines. Like once you put a line in, if you see something that makes more sense with it, so in other words, if you got more touches, more signs of support, you will adjust these lines as you get more data. And that's perfectly normal. So it's not like you're fudging it to make it look like, oh, I want to make it look like it's still on the channel. No, you're using the more data. Because obviously the best place for that line is where you've got the most contacts. Especially if it's reversed. Like even this top one, quite literally, it might actually be about here. Because look at this, we got a whole bunch of contacts right along there. So that's probably more accurate. Because we just threw this in here pretty quickly. And that's the way it will happen. You will be changing these as you go. But yeah, their valuation, yeah, it is high. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. All right. Rory says, afternoon. There goes the neighborhood. Well, Rory, I hope you're not in a tornado warning today. I know that I saw some stuff on the Weather Network, and it was just like, wow. Let's see. Samantha says, glad you didn't get caught in a tornado, Rory. Exactly, because then, that's never good. Let's see. Scott says, well, Rory, is it still windy? Rory says, no, it's because I'm in chat. All right, Pathfinder, what are your thoughts on AVGO and NVDA at the moment? So Broadcom and NVIDIA. Oh, boy. It's going to be, you know what? The next set of tech earnings are going to be really interesting. So a lot of the chip companies, I think a lot of the chip companies are undervalued. I do. And and a lot of people look at that and say, Candace, you're nuts. They're overvalued. I think, I would say NVIDIA, I'm not including NVIDIA in that, but I think things like Micron, Broadcom, there's a few others, AMD, I think they're a little bit on that undervalued side. I think there is room for them to grow. Now, the thing that we need right now is you got to get by the hype. I will tell you this right now. One of the hardest things when trying to figure out what's going on within the chip industry is that the hype is absolutely ludicrous. If you go onto YouTube, we're on YouTube, but if you were to do a search on YouTube on, what's the chip market going to do, you're going to have people that will make you think that the AI bubble's bursting and it's all downhill from here and it's all going to collapse and be a great calamity. And then you're going to, and you'll leave a video like that wanting to sell. You'll be like, I got to get out. That's of course FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. then you'll find other videos where they're like, you know what? Yeah, things aren't so bad. Things are looking up. AI is about to explode, and it's gonna, it's gonna go full throttle. Well, those are probably over exaggerating. It's somewhere's in the middle. I don't think it's either extreme. And unfortunately, the problem is you get a YouTuber comes along and says, yeah, it's in the middle. It's, it's not doom and gloom, and it's not time to, sell the house and get another mortgage to put it all into chip companies. It's not time for that either. So it is somewhere in the middle. I don't think anybody really knows, and you can make really good arguments in both directions. So I kind of look at it this way. I think that there's room to grow. I think that I still see them as being safe investments. I don't see the bubble bursting. I don't see it bursting. But keep in mind, I could be wrong, or I could be right. It's kind of that whole thing. So you got to make up your mind. You got to do the research. Like, do the research. If the AI, if AI is starting to give you an uneasy feeling, and you're like, oh my God. And here's a funny thing. I want to point something out. A lot of the anti-AI people they're not the boomers. The boomers are fine with AI. It's not Gen X. Oh, Gen X loves AI. It's not the millennials. The millennials are pretty keen on AI too. It's the Zoomers. The Zoomers just don't like AI. And I don't know if that comes into it. I don't know what you're watching on YouTube, but if it's a Zoomer doing a video on AI, they're probably going to not be in favor of it. So it's kind of a weird thing, because this flips the script a little bit. Like, normally, new technology, usually the younger people are the people all on board, and then the older people are the ones saying, nope, nope, not for me. Don't want that internet. Don't want that newfangled whatever. But now it's completely different. It's kind of, and it might be just because of what AI can do. Like, you take, if you've got somebody, some 69-year-old, little woman living in a place all by herself, no one to talk to, and her kids come by, introduce her to like Chat GPT, and she starts having conversations with it. That could probably be quite comforting. And especially now, it keeps getting better and better. Just this week, ChatGPT released their new voice model, and it's getting really good. It's getting really, really, really good. So I think that might be why. I think a lot of people in the older generation, well, I think the younger generation, I think this might be part of it. The Zoomers, they've heard all that rhetoric coming from like Elon Musk and everybody else saying, yeah, it's going to replace everyone's jobs. Well, yeah, eventually, probably. Maybe. There might be it might replace a lot of current jobs, but there will be new jobs created. There always is. The railroads were supposed to take all the jobs from all the people who were, heck, what, I don't even know what jobs those would have taken, but it was the same kind of rhetoric. The automobile was going to put all of the horse breeders out of business, and all of the people who make horseshoes and that, and it kind of did. Well, not completely. I mean, there's still always going to be horses. But then there were new jobs. So instead of making horseshoes, maybe you became a tire fitter. So there's always, jobs will change, and that's kind of a normal thing in the world, and that's going to keep happening. But anyway, wow, I'm going on a tangent now on every question, aren't I? So yeah, anyway, I like AVG. I like Broadcom. I like Nvidia. Are the big growth spurts over? I don't see any big growth spurts on them this year. Pretty much, I think, until we can get behind all of the crap that's going on right now in the Middle East, I don't see a lot of movement in tech. I see tech kind of moving sideways for the most part over the rest of this year, but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see, like, we will see some stuff explode, obviously, but I would like to see more. I would like to be wrong on this one. Roy says, oh, but we did have tornadoes to the east over the last 3 days. MU aunt's tree in the backyard Ross in Rossthorne, Saskatchewan was ripped out of the ground. Oh my God. Oh, wait, I think you mean my aunt's, not moo aunt's. Your aunt's tree? Holy cow. Jonathan says, I'm going to learn lip reading. I can't miss the monologue. I started it all over again, Jonathan. You didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. Scott says, you were being figurative, not literal. Gotcha. Rory, let's see. I'm hoping for a pullback on the S&P so I can add H yield as far as covered call ETFs go. Well, Rory, interesting thing. Actually, today I scripted a new H yield video. So that will be coming out, I don't know, in a week or so. All right, Samantha says, anyone here close to the proposed data center in Alberta? Grand Prairie area. The regular Microsoft, Cherry Microsoft, Diet Microsoft, Microsoft Zero. I wonder what Cherry Microsoft would be like. A says, is BCE a buy at the current price? Analyst rating shows buy on Yahoo Finance. What do you think about expected $2 billion revenue from data centers and AI? Well, both Bell, so BCE, and TELUS, they've been sort of playing in that field. I think they're going to get some dividends from it. Not as in not dividends per se, but just the phrase dividends. I think it will pay off. I think there could be some potential there. I don't know if it's going to be explosive though. I don't see it as being explosive growth, but I think that we might see some steady growth from them over the next year, maybe longer. Excuse me. All right. Samantha says, looks like a few of them, including Grand Prairie. South of Grand Prairie has convenient CN rail access to. Nice. Shipping those bits by rail. Let's see. They might if it goes through. IS is a good dividend ETF in the infrastructure sector too. IS. What is IS? Let's take a look here. IS. Here we, it's a split core. Nice. All right. I do like split cores, especially when the market's doing well. They tend to be really, really good. All right. So first of all, yeah, look at this. This is fantastic. In the last year, they've gone from 1536 to 1959. But here's the thing. It's a split core. So you're going to get a half decent, yeah, here it is, dividend, 9.188%. Not too shabby. That's monthly. And quite literally right now, this one is priced, like this one's priced alone all by itself at $19.59. As you guys know, with split cores, there's that $15 threshold where they will suspend dividends, but it's not just this. You've got to add them together. So it's the split and the preferred. And the preferred is at 10. So together, they're up around, they're just over $30. So this is highly, highly reliable at this point in time. It would take a lot for it to ever get to a point where it's suspending dividends. So yeah, this is a really good find, Lance. IS is really good. Like, I mean, like legitimately, like I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, why is this not in the 0 to 100K challenge? And why am I just discovering this one right now? Yeah, this one is a good one. Is good. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Rory says, I ran trains through that area. Lots of bears. Do the bears get used to the trains and just ignore them? A lot of animals, unfortunately, lose their lives on train tracks. My friend, a good friend of mine, he actually became, they were training him to be an engineer or whatever, drive the train. And he hit a bear near Banff, and apparently it was a famous bear. I wasn't familiar with the bear, but yeah, I mean, the poor bear didn't make it, unfortunately. Let's see, Rory. Yeah, they like to eat the grain that spills on the tracks, or eat conductors. Oh boy, that's not conductive to the running of the train. It was a bother. Let's see. My dad works part-time as a conductor. I guess you could call him a semiconductor. No, I tried not to laugh at that one, but that was good, Lance. Lance, That was so good that I got no choice. Yeah, you get the laughing goat. You get the laughing goat. Simple as that. Oh, that was so good. Uh, Scott says, nice poo reference. Top drawer Lance. A chip off the old block. I think Lance has the goat for that. Yep, that did it. You were so right. +1. All right. What do you think about alga? ALG. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Here we go. Alamo. I remember the Alamo. No, I don't, but I had to say it. You know. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like this one here. Like let's actually go further back. It hasn't done a lot. It hasn't done a lot. I mean, it's for the most part, it's been on this downward tick for a little while here. Now here's the interesting thing. So yeah, they build industrial and vegetation management equipment. I like what they do. I like what they do. It does fit into the infrastructure tag for sure. I just wish we could see. I wish we could see them moving up. I wish we could. Now I will say this. Let's go into their back end. When you look at them from the back end, I mean, they don't have a lot of debt. So we're looking at 25% debt to equity. The return on equity, 9.07. I'd like to see that a little higher. So I think this is a company that has potential, but right now they're not quite hitting it. But as more and more emphasis gets put into infrastructure, a company like this might benefit. But right now, I would be a little hesitant on it. I'm not sour on them. I'm just a little hesitant. That's about all. All right. Rory, bears know better to get off the tracks when trains are coming. Moose, on the other hand, are just so dumb. Yikes. IIRC, the beginning of the year, was back in January. Lance says, no, I'm invested in MST or MSTE. I just want a better understanding of the risks. Okay, fair enough. That's the thing. I really don't see a huge risk there. It's kind of funny with strategy, and I've seen this. I've watched this for a long time. Whenever Bitcoin's doing bad, people start getting a little bit like, oh my God, strategy's gonna get, they're gonna get, they're gonna get margin called, and it's gonna completely crash everything down. Michael Saylor's strategy's not gonna work. I hear this all the time, and it never actually, it doesn't happen. He's a really smart guy. That's the thing you have to keep in mind. The risks that that people think about, he's already planned for them not to happen before he even put things in motion. I think it's safe. I think it's safe. Is Saylor starting a new fund called Moon? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. But, wow, that's a great ticker, though. That is actually a great ticker. I'm surprised nobody has it already. I'm just going to check this out here. Oh, here, Canada, we've got the Blue Moon Metals. Oh, look at this. That's kind of cool. Blue Moon Metals. So they're on the TSXV. I'm going to pull this up here. I'm kind of curious. All right, so they had a pretty good day on Friday. They were up 5.487%. Not too shabby. Yeah, they've been moving up pretty good. What type of metals are Blue Moon looking at? Copper, gold, silver. Those are my favorite three. So they've got projects in Norway. All right. Let's see, and they've also got, they got a project in the US as well. All right. Oh, and they've also got germanium, gallium, and copper as well. Okay. All right. Yeah, I like what I see here, actually. This is Moon. Let's take a quick look at their back end. Let's make sure that they're... Ooh, I don't like this. All right. So they're currently not profitable, but they have been growing. So that makes me wonder, because look at this. They've only got 7% debt to equity. Makes me wonder, what, have they expanded? Could there be something like that going on? It might be. I'm thinking the odds are higher that it could be. So, but yeah, I would still be concerned about that a little bit. But nonetheless, this is Moon, at least the Canadian Moon. Funny Books says, what do you think about HG? I bought at $1.06. All right, let's take a look here. HG. All right. Oh, there's actually one in the US as well, but all right, you obviously bought the, we'll grab this here. Okay, the Hydrograph Clean Power. I like this. Of course, obviously, we're talking renewables. Renewables is good. But I'm going to pull up. Let's just take a look here and see. I'm going to pull up the. All right. So on the year, they're actually doing pretty good. So you said you got in somewhere's down in here, right? 106, you said? Oh, 106. So you got in really low. Oh, wow. Yeah. So you got in down here. Yeah. I like the sector that they're in. Now, let me just see here. Let's see. They're using, okay, they produce pristine graphene. All right, we don't need to know the process that they're using, but okay, I like that. I like that. All right, and I think graphene is good. I like graphene. Now, let's just take a quick look at their back end. Okay, this is the exact same story as Moon. We got very little debt, so 3% debt to equity, but they are currently unprofitable. But why? What are they doing? Is this kind of, a lot of times too, you got to keep in mind, this number comes from one quarterly report. And if in that quarter they diverted their cash flow into something else, whether it be an expansion or something, that can create that. That's why you always want to look and go deeper. You want to find out what is going on. What have they done? What have they done? And sometimes that number might actually be a good thing. It might. Most times it's not, but sometimes it is. All right. A says, Apotex is on a tear. Do you think it will continue after 90 days from IPO? I feel sad Wealthsimple only gave 13 stocks. Apotex, yeah. Yeah, let's pull this up here. All right, Apotex right here. So this is Apotex Wealth. Health. Wealth. Well, if your health is good, it's a different type of wealth. It's an organic wealth. All right, let's actually, it hasn't been out for that long. Actually, maybe is it more than a month now? Okay, yeah. So look at this. I mean, they launched, they IPO'd down here around $27. They're up at 38. This is fantastic. Like, they have absolutely done well. Now, what I love about this company is they produce generics. And one of the generics that they're producing is the generic version of like the Wegovy. Also, I was thinking as well of Ozempic, Wegovy. Actually, I think it might just be Ozempic. I'm not sure if Wegovy has a generic yet, but as soon as they do, it's going to probably come through this one. So, but the generics on these are basically taking a medication that is highly expensive and making it much more affordable. So they're going to do well. They're going to do well. Like a lot of people want the fat pills or the fat shots. Are we allowed to say fat? I don't know. But I'm just saying, a lot of people are into that, and they're looking for that easy way to lose weight, and that's going to keep this company's going to do well. So when you say, will they continue after 90 days from IPO? I don't think it'll be as steep as it is here. I think it'll be less steep, but I still see an upward trajectory for them. I think it's going to be good. All right, Rory says, just heat warnings now. Humidity's around 40. Yeah, that's hot. The Humididex is outpacing the TSX. Can't profit off the heat. Lemonade stand. Yeah. I like that. Need a federal permit to distribute drinks. Do you? Oh, gosh. Larry says, Lindsay. So, yes. Lindsey Graham passed away on the weekend. So, definitely one of the key MAGA people down there in the U.S. So, also, Mitch McConnell is apparently hospitalized as well. So nobody really knows his status, but definitely a hit to Trump for sure. So yeah, no, I don't agree I don't agree with his politics, but it's always sad to see somebody go. Now, yeah, I think he was 71, so but I always look at it this way. My mom is, oh my God, how old is my mom now? I think my mom is pushing 75. So when I see somebody die who's like 71, it makes me feel the mortality of my mom. And my mom, I've already told her she's not allowed to die. So as long as she listens to me, we should be good. Scott says Putin's enemies also died under mysterious circumstances. Just saying. Oh, really? I do. Okay. Well, you know what? Yeah, that does happen. Putin tends to, uh, yeah, I'll just say this. You're saying poison donuts. I'm saying, yeah, he does stuff like that. Microsoft Tab. Let's say you can't have a tab. You haven't ordered anything yet. Nice, Scott. And I think right now we're into Back to the Future. Then give me a Pepsi free. You need to pay for anything you order. Just something without sugar. Well, actually, I think the guy in the movie gave him a water. Hey McFly, classic. It's a good one. A famous beer. He was very popular. BJ and the Bear. Oh yes, yes. The BJ, of course, was a monkey, a chimpanzee, I believe. That's not politically correct. Oh, what the word the fat thing? Yeah. It's not, but I mean, what am I supposed to call it? It's a shot or a pill to help you remove adipose tissue. There we go. And people will look at me and say, "What? What? It's I look at it this way. Hey, I'm fat, so does that give me a pass? Does it mean I'm allowed to say fat? I don't know. Honestly, I never know, and I don't care. I don't care, to be honest. Um, Let's see. Roy says, except it was a monkey. What do you think about LIF at current price? Are commodities overpriced right now? So LIF, Labrador, iron ore. Let's see here. Okay, let's try this again. LIF. Here we go. So Labrador, iron ore, royalty, and I love royalties. Big fan of royalties. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at them. I'm gonna pull up the 3-year just to give us a better picture. So I mean, they've come down, and iron ore has come down as well. So yeah, are they overpriced? I don't think they're overpriced. I don't think so. I will say this. Once we get a rebound in iron ore, this will probably be a nice entry point in here. Now you actually get half decent dividends. It's a quarterly dividend, but well, right now, I guess right now it's at 4.386, but this changes a lot. Like their dividend is very floating. It depends, of course, on how much money they're making out of the iron ore industry. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It's one of those things. I would, if iron ore turns around, it'll probably do well. I'll give it that. The Plain Bagel just put out a video about finfluencers pushing penny stocks. Yeah. Here's the thing about penny stocks. Like you guys will know, if you guys ask me to look at a penny stock, I'll look at it and I'll tell you what I think. 99% of the time, you really shouldn't be buying that penny stock. You really shouldn't. Not, unless, I always talk about fun money because it's got to be fun money. It's got to be money you're willing to lose because it's highly, highly speculative on these penny stocks. I will say this. I've had penny stock people reach out for sponsorships with me and I have said no. I'm like, no, I refuse to do a sponsorship on something that I don't believe in, something that I feel is highly, highly speculative. So yeah, I won't do it. I personally won't do it. Now, there are YouTubers that will. There are YouTubers that will sort of go, oh, it's a payday. Let's do it. Well, I'm not going to I will not lie in a sponsored video for, for anybody. And quite literally, even if, and 9 Point's awesome. I love 9 Point, but let's just say 9 Point came and said, Candace, we've created this new ETF. It's all based on penny stocks. We're calling it Penny Saver. Ooh, I like that. Well, can you promote it? I would be like, well, I can, but you got to let me say you got to let me say the truth. And if they said, well, no, 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 you have to say this, I would just say, no, I can't promote it. But obviously 9 Point is probably the last company that would ever do something like that. But I'm just saying, I would refuse, absolutely. Even if I had a relationship with the company, if they wanted me to promote something that I would have to tell you guys, if I would have to bend, even if I don't even want to bend the truth with you guys, I won't do it. So that's kind of the thing. Anyway, yeah, no, and I know the Plain Bagel is very vocal on that, and 100%, I agree. I agree with what the Plain Bagel's saying. Regulations, they're not always like, they will enforce. So when you look at securities, first of all, in Canada, we don't have one main body for securities. Each province has their own securities. So Alberta has one, Ontario has one. Now, Ontario, so the OEC, most of the other ones will fall in line with it, but not always. And there have been situations where, for example, if I were to do a sponsored video but not tell you it's sponsored, that's breaking the rules. So there's a good chance if somebody reported me, like let's say I did not put in the disclaimer saying that it was sponsored and I didn't click on the thing that shows that it's sponsored content, I could get sued, by like the security commissions, and it might even be more than one. It just depends. Um, so yeah, you got to be really careful about stuff like that. You always want to be upfront. You always want to, let people know. Like, for example, I'm going to give you one right now. All right, so this here, I just dropped it in my chat. This is my Wealthsimple affiliate link. Now, I love Wealthsimple. I also love the fact they got a contest on right now. So there's that chance that you could win some money. However, you need to know it's an affiliate link. So when you click on it and you fund your account, they do give you $25, but they give me $25 as well. So that's something you have to take into consideration. You have to sort of say to yourself, okay, well, Candace is getting $25. So, does that mean that I can't believe what Candace is saying? Yeah, it does. It does mean that. Even though I'm not going to lie to you guys and I'm being upfront about all of it, if you don't know me and you don't know my integrity level, then you should be questioning that. And what does that mean? That doesn't mean not to use my affiliate code. What that means is make up your own mind about Wealthsimple. And if it is something you're interested in, then use the affiliate code. It doesn't even have to be my affiliate code. It could be somebody else's, because most of us Canadian influencers, we all have it. So, like maybe, for example, you might say, well, you know what? I kind of like Canadian in a t-shirt better than Mountain Finance. I want to use their code. I want to support them. I don't want to support Mountain. And that'd be perfectly fine. That would be perfectly fine. But, either way, you're going to win one way or another. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I tend to not get, I think some influencers get really aggressive with all of their affiliate stuff and that. I try not to. I'll drop it in, I'll tell you what it does, and then that's it. It's up to you. I'm not going to sit back here and say, okay, who has not yet clicked on my link? I won't do that to you guys. All right, Rory says a lot of clickbait titles from these influencers. Yeah, there are. There are a lot of clickbaits. I don't mind clickbait. Like, I'm okay with it. But here's the thing. If you are using misleading clickbait, I have a problem with that. So, I can put up, if I use something that's clickbaity, I better deliver in that video. Otherwise, it's not going to be in my thumbnail. And that's actually interesting. Gary Gill is really good for using clickbait. and sometimes sometimes it can get questionable. Yeah, his last video, like the I'm done video. It's like, I was expecting it to be a video about MSTE, but it was a video about having a baby. So, all right, he did technically deliver on that, but and so there are some people that come in and when they find out that it's about the baby, they'll be like, "That's not what I clicked for," and that happens. That happens. But I mean, I like Gary. Gary's awesome. Probably gonna. I'm hoping to do actually a collaboration with him in August. Rory says proceed with caution, and Mary says hit the like button, everyone. Yeah. You know what? I have not looked at the like button since the beginning of the show. Actually, I don't think I've looked at it at all. Yeah, right now I'm looking there, and it's one. I've got a one on my test box. I'm refreshing the test box because otherwise, otherwise, um, let's see here. Oh, 35. Okay, let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. Um, was that skip over or a censor of my comment? I didn't skip over anything, I don't think. I'm just gonna quickly zip back to make sure because if I skipped you, it would be unhighlighted. So no, I did not skip any comment at all. So YouTube killed it. YouTube killed your comment, Scott. Rory says, can Div get to 430, 440? Not a penny stock. No, Div, so diversified royalty. They're definitely not a penalty stock, a penny stock. They've been well above a penny for a long time. So here we go, diversified royalty. I'm going to go back 10 years. So even 10 years ago, they were still $2.30. They're not a huge value, like they're not an expensive stock, but they have, and quite literally, we can go back 15 years. Even 15 years, they were well above. So they, by no means, I wouldn't even call them penny adjacent. They're a pretty good company. I like diversified royalty. They've done well for me. TT3 pump and dump schemes. Yeah, those are pretty bad. So one of the things I've noticed, there's a channel in the U.S. You know what? I'll tell you what the channel is. It's called Redacted. And a lot of times, as it's a US channel, they will pump some obscure penny stock, and a lot of times it's a Canadian stock. And they'll go on and on about how this thing's going to explode. I have no proof of this, so this is all allegedly, but I allegedly believe that they're buying that stock before they present it on the air, or on their videos. I think they're buying it. I think they're then selling it once a lot of the people, because they have a sizable following. And I think they're selling it afterwards. And there's been, that's just one current one that and quite literally, I don't think Redacted would be watching my channel, so I don't care. I don't care. I think that they're a little bit questionable. Some of their picks, very questionable. And I think pump and dump is probably an appropriate word I would potentially use with them. But there have been a lot of pump and dump schemes. You see it a lot more in the US than in Canada. I can't recall of a single one in Canada. Like regulatory wise, the only thing I can think of is I believe there was in Alberta I think there was a finfluencer in Alberta that was not disclosing their sponsored content, and I think they got sued. And I think they got hit with like $10,000-$15,000 in fines, something like that. So yeah, you gotta be straight. You gotta be upfront with people. I mean, it's the only way to go, really. Rory, I used to trade those 10, 20 cents lithium stocks. Didn't always work out so well. No, it usually doesn't. Scott, I was trading shipping penny stocks but couldn't stay afloat. That was clever, Scott. It didn't get the laughing goat, but it was clever. Scott won, Lance won. I don't think so, Rory. I don't think so. Yeah, and Scott doesn't think so as well. I don't think that was goat worthy. It was, yeah, it wasn't goat worthy. Rory says goal is being looked at in the war room in Toronto to see if it's a goal. A master at clickbait. And let's see. A guy in the U.S. was pumping penny stocks on Twitter. It took a few years, but he went to jail. Good. That, I look at it this way. I take I think of it this way. What I'm doing here with you guys, I feel like there's a responsibility for me to be straightforward, to be honest, to be non-deceiving. Um, because we're not talking about Pokemon. We're not talking about Lego, although sometimes we talk about Lego. Um, we're talking about your finances. We're talking about your money. And that needs to be safeguarded. That needs to be, and that's why, like, I will say this over and over again. Don't listen to anybody on YouTube. Like, nobody, even me, don't listen. As in, don't follow. Like, don't mirror what I'm doing. Do your own thing. So take the information that I'm presenting in an educational vein. Take it and say, okay, yeah, all right, Candace said this, this, and this. Okay, great. Let me do the research. Let's see if I agree. And you know what? It's okay to not agree. Like, you can come back and say, Candace, I think you were full of poop on this one. And I'm okay with that. And I might look at it and say, oh gosh, you might be right. I'm going to be wrong from time to time. And that's perfectly fine. That's why it's always important. I look at it this way. The money that you have to invest, you've worked really hard for it. So you don't want to just sort of, jump on the YouTube and the first person that pumps a penny stock, you don't want to just say, oh yeah, that's it. I'm in. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You should not be dropping any money on an investment if you have not, at least looked at it. Look at the fundamentals. Make sure it makes sense. Because if it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't matter what YouTuber is telling you that it's a great opportunity. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. All right. Rory, can you imagine if people followed Roaring Kitty? Wait, they did. I know. Lance, I don't have any single stock covered call ETFs, but if you had to get one Canadian and one U.S. and one U.S. single stock covered call ETF, which ones would you have the most confidence in to buy? Okay. Oh boy. See, and that's a great question. See, I personally, I wouldn't. I would simply go with some of the bigger, like an Ichi or an HHIC, or in the case of the U.S., we have HHIS, and I have a feeling, and I can't confirm this, but I bet you somewheres down the road we're going to get a 9-point version as well, sort of a U.S. version of Ichi. I know that's going to come. They can't confirm it. I can't confirm it. I got a feeling though. I'm just saying. That excites me because I love how Ichi has performed. But if I only could have one, so if I had to choose one, I would look at Canada. And I'd look at, obviously, it has to be a company I have a lot of conviction in. So I would sort of narrow it down to things like, well, I love Canadian natural resources, so that's a possibility. Cameco, I'm very bullish long-term on uranium, so maybe Cameco would be a possibility. So that's how I would sort of narrow it down when I'm looking at that. I would probably, in that situation as well, I would probably choose, I would probably go with 9-point over Harvest. And the reason for that is just that they tend to be a little more out of the money. And I want that extra growth, as much growth as I can get out of it. So that's probably what I would do. On the US side now, oh boy, there's a lot of good ones. Now, I currently have a little SpaceX, of course, because I'm swing trading that, so I'm not going to count that. But I think with the US right now, companies like Eli Lilly certainly would catch my interest. Most of the chip companies, I still think that there's room to grow there, but has that growth already happened? That would be the thing I would be looking at. So maybe Intel, maybe actually I might go with Intel. I really like Intel or AMD. So I would kind of go. I think that's how I would lean. I think. Scott says, in my humble opinion, I think it's better to just buy a single stock rather than a single stock covered call ETF. Yeah, obviously the reason to buy the single stock covered call ETF is you're looking for that income. If you're not seeking income, yeah, you probably don't need to buy it. Obviously, if you're definitely looking for growth, then yeah, you want to buy, instead of the Cameco ETF, you want to buy Cameco. That would be perfectly good reason to do that. Let's see, Ian, just got here. What are your thoughts in 200-day moving averages? Ah, now the 200 days average is a long time to move. I know, and a lot of people sort of use that 200-day moving average as being kind of like bedrock, if that makes sense. So they sort of see it as being that bottom level that most companies aren't going to, they're not going to put, like, the amount of support at the 200-day moving average is huge. So most companies, if they do go into a major drop, most times they're going to bounce off of that 200-day moving average. When they punch through it, then there's concern, and some people will argue that if it pushes through it, then it's like, kiss your butt goodbye. It's trouble. It doesn't necessarily have to. Like, keep in mind, it's just a line on a graph. It can go through it, but it usually won't. And most times, that 200-day moving average, most times it's not even going to get close. It might get close to it, but it's for me. I look at it this way: if you're as long as you're above that 200 moving day average, I don't think there's anything wrong, because obviously, you are doing better. So yeah, it's kind of, for me. It's still, I still like to think of it as my bedrock. It's like, I want my stuff. I always want my stuff above the 200-day, and you will. I mean, yeah, you're going to move below it sometimes. It's not a big deal. It's just, don't treat it like it's the end of the world. Like some people will do it. Actually, I don't even know if I have the 200-day moving average on here. It'd be interesting to see. Well, obviously not for this one. Let me see here. Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin. Where am I? I'm right here. Gold, silver, W. All right, here's my Bitcoin. All right, let's just take a look here. I usually just play. I usually don't worry so much about. I tend to not worry a lot about moving averages, but some people like to look at them. All right, I don't think I have any moving averages on here at all, do I? No, I don't think I do. Just double check. I'm going down. Going down. Nope, I don't have any moving averages on here. All right, let's see if we can add one here. Let's go here. Indicators. 200. All right, let's see here. Here's a 200-day moving average. Ooh. Oh, I like the ribbon. I'm going to try this one. All right, let's go. There we go. Perfect. All right, so this is kind of giving us a general idea. So you can look at this here. So when it's red, so the 200-day moving average is the top part of the line, or in this case, the bottom part. And so what this does is it sort of builds out kind of ribbons coming from the mine. So when it's green, then yeah, Bitcoin's doing really well. And then you can see, whoops, oh, I moved that. I didn't mean to move that. Oh, well. You will go from red to green. I still don't think it is anything important. You are going to move above it. You're going to move below it. But like I said at the beginning, to me, it's the bedrock. I do like to be above it as much. I want to see more green than red. So, yeah. All right. And I'm going to just collapse this a little bit, guys, so you can sort of get a better view here. So yeah, you can sort of see, like with Bitcoin here, You get some, it oscillates back and forth for the most part. I still think, like I would love to say that we're about to head back up into this vicinity, but I still think we're going to go sideways for a bit. I think we're still going to go sideways for a bit. If not growth worthy, it's bad. True. Candace says no goal. Scott was offside. Sorry. There we go. Oh, Ian, you sold the Grand Prix yesterday. Took 2 hours. Guess I should have asked for more. I would say that's a good sign that you should. I always say this. I always ask for more than I want. That way there, most people will try to beat you down. Not all. There are some people that will come in and just pay exactly what you ask. And in that case, yay you. But yeah, for the most part, I'll ask for more. Like if I wanted to sell it for, let's say I was looking for $10,000. And I'm probably going in low, but I just want that. I would probably ask for like 12,000 and then let them beat me down to 10,000. And then that would be fine. Especially imagine if I'm looking for 10,000, I asked for 12. If they came in and said 11,000, I'd be like, I would still, even though it's more than I want, you know what? I would still counter back. What about 11,500? And then they might come in again at 11,250. And then fine, there we go. I've still eked out a bit more money in the whole process. So that's kind of the way I handle it. All right, Scott says, Candace says don't listen to anyone on YouTube, and she means it. She literally proved that at the start. All right. Scott, you have scored. You have scored. You get the laughing goat. There we go. I guess you can't keep a good Scott down for long. That was funny. Even Adriano or Perry's PI verse, I don't buy even 75% of what they own. Yeah, you got to make up your own mind. You got to decide what is right for your portfolio. My goal, like I said, my role here is just to educate you on what is out there. You have to decide what's right for your portfolio. 100%. 100%. TT3 says, I would buy AEMI or CCHI, Agnigo and Cameco. Agnigo is another good one as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad choice, TT3. Let's see. They are insane on buying ETFs with north of 100% yield. That's nuts. Yeah, I agree. I like, for the most part, I like to stay under 15% yield. For the most part. There's a couple that go a little bit above 15, and I'm okay with that as long as I'm getting the results. But for the most part, if it's under 15%, I'm okay. If it's over 15%, I need to know why, and I need to make sure that it still makes sense. Scott says, how close are we to oil? We should have oil data dropping in about 10 minutes. Rory says, I'm closer than anyone here. I meant time-wise, not location. Smart banana bread head. The air smells of heavy crude. I know that's a pot and kettle situation. Any predictions for when futures open? I'm predicting oil will be in the green. I'm predicting green. There's just been so much, and I know that we kind of are used to the chaos around the Strait of Hormuz, but we got a whole bunch of stuff. And even when you take like Lindsey Graham's death and the whole, you throw that in the mix too. I think there's enough things to make people a little uncertain right now. So I think we're going to see, I'm not going to say that it's going to be big green. Actually, here, let's see if we can go over. Let's go over here. Oh, gosh. You see, here's another reason I hate some of these indicators. It's like, I can't, it's in the way. I'm going to remove the indicator. I'm removing it. I think I can remove it easily. Actually, here, how do I remove these indicators? Uh-oh. What did I click on? Oh, stupid Quest Trade Plus. All right, go away, Quest Trade. I don't like you. There we go. X. I only say that because they they've been a pain. All right, let's see here. Which one of these is the indicator? This one here, I think. Yeah, let's get rid of it. Remove. Bang. Okay, now we got clear field again. We got a clear field again, so we'll be able to see what's going on here with Oh, one of them's already moved. I think one of them has already moved. Or nope, nope, never mind. I was looking at Bitcoin and Brent. Sorry, Brent and WTI. There we go. I'm just going back over here. Because I was going to say, yeah, one was red, one was green. Okay, never mind. What do you think of selling Apple at all-time highs here and putting the capital into strategy? So obviously I love Apple, but yeah, Apple is up pretty high. Yeah, you have to decide what you want to do. So obviously with Apple, I think Apple's a safe, reliable bet. I think they'll continue to go higher. Not, nothing really fast. I don't think it's going to be fast. Um, but taking some profit from the top and putting it into something that's low, like strategy, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Like I do have a lot of faith in strategy, but that's what you have to ask yourself, Robert. Do you have faith in strategy? Do you believe in Michael Saylor's vision? Even so, I wouldn't go crazy. Like I wouldn't like, if you have a giant Apple position, I don't know if I'd sell the whole thing and throw it in. I would certainly take some profits off the tap, maybe push them down to an area that I like. And then maybe put some of that excess profits into something like strategy. That could be a way to go. Let's see. Ian says I did ask for more. Wanted 2,500. Asked for 3,300. Took 2,500. It's a 25-year-old car that wasn't running right. Okay, okay. So you wanted 2,500. You asked for 33. You ended up taking 25. But that's perfect, right? You got what you wanted, and that should be the worst case scenario. Is that you get exactly what you want. And that's fine because yeah, like I'm hoping there was a couple more numbers in there. Like if you came in with 33, maybe they tried to talk you down to like I don't know, I'll give you 2,000 for it, and that's when you'd come back and say because you're after the 2,500. Then you're like, nah, well, I could go down to 3,000. Then they might be say, all right, well, what about 2,500? That's kind of the whole haggling thing is kind of cool. Scott, I'm one of those people. I wouldn't waste my time trying to talk someone down on price. It's either a fair price or I ignore your offer. Okay, fair enough. And there are people like that for sure. Like sometimes there's somebody who will come along and they will just give you exactly what you ask, even though I'm like, oh boy, that's an inflated price. That's the pre-haggle price. But if they're happy with it, I'm okay taking their money. Lance says I like Utes. Me too. I love lamp. Oh, that's pretty enlightening. Rory says HHLE at $8 would be a nice compliment. 13% yield and over 100 million in assets under management. Okay. Ian's also a fan of the lamp. All right. Sue says a great penny stock, DEFN, all three government backing, open pit, close to highway access to CN, rail feeding straight to the deep water port at Prince Rupert. Korea's Hanwha locked into an official MOU. So yeah, I think we've looked at DEFN before. Let's pull them up again though. All right, DEFN, perfect. So yeah, here we are, Defense Metals. So they're worth 15 cents. So yeah, look at this. They had a pretty good day, up 7.143, but they are a penny stock. So even though Sue has put out a compelling argument, you still want to put your penny stock glasses on and say, okay, I'm not going to let myself get swayed too much. So when you look here at the chart, they have been moving down. So okay, that's fine. That's fine. I guess the valuation we're getting from Sue is on what they're potentially going to be doing here. I will also look in the back end too, because I always like to look and see what's going on behind the scenes. So this case here, I like this part here, no debt. Great. Now they are not profitable currently, so negative 10.04 return on equity. So that's something I would watch. That is something I would certainly watch. I would investigate, find out why. And it looks like Sue has done a lot of research there. So even then, let's say that the research all shows great stuff like what Sue is showing. I'm still going to be cautious with an investment like this if I go into it. I use the word play money. This is kind of the way I would go with this one. I think there's potential here. I believe there's potential here. I believe Sue could be right. But it's so easy to get, to sort of get lured in with a lot of bells and whistles on some of these penny stocks. So I will always enter them cautiously. 100% cautious. Scott says, I have no faith in MSTR, MSTE. I have as much money in it as I'm willing to lose. So in other words, Scott has nothing in it, I think. And Sue says there are 2 YouTube videos out on it. Okay. And that doesn't, but keep in mind, we just talked about some YouTubers will promote some penny stocks because maybe they're being paid. I would still take it with a grain of salt. I would still take it. Now, it sounds like you're convinced, and there's nothing wrong with being convinced on this. I think there's potential here, but it's like I would not make a video on this. The last thing I would want to do is make a video on a company like this and have it go sideways. And then have a lot of you guys all of a sudden say, but Candace said it was okay. I got in on that. Like, even though I say do your own due diligence, some people don't. I wouldn't want to see that happen. So be cautious, be careful with this. I'm not saying don't get it. I'm just saying be careful with it. Don't bet the house on it, because I would, no matter how much I love a penny stock, I would never bet the house on it, ever. There's not even if I thought it was a sure thing, I still would never bet the house on it, because there are factors outside of a great company that can completely derail them. So you take some of these smaller penny stocks, a lot of times they can respond a lot more to black swan events. So if a black swan event came along and derailed a lot of what was happening right now with this company, yeah, you could lose a lot of money really fast. So that's something to always keep in mind. Now, the chances are that it's probably fine, but you always have to keep it in mind. Rory says, I've tried buying 500 Lotto 649 tickets when I was a young gun. Did not win anything higher than $10. Yeah, I actually did that once too, Rory, but I basically bought 100 tickets. And I was thinking, all right, if I buy 100 tickets, I just need 10 of them to be $10 winners to break even. And I thought, well, maybe there's a chance. I think I won $10. I got $10 on one ticket. That was it. So I quickly turned $100 into $10. Learned my lesson very quickly about lotteries. Scott, you could do a video on you viewers' penny stocks and rate them. Yeah, I do want to do a penny stock video. Just keep in mind, it's not going to be a video where I just present 10 penny stocks and say these ones are great. It's gonna be wrapped in a lot of caution. That's for sure. Sue says it's the CEO. Okay. Oh, what is one of the videos from the CEO? I'm not sure. Whew. All right, guys. The oil should be opening. Let's get back here. All right, we should be getting some movement here on oil here. Oh, we already got Brent is up. Look at this. This is what I was expecting. So Brent has gapped up 2.27%, but we'll see. We'll see. Like, I don't know if it's gonna I don't know if it's gonna go completely crazy, but I do expect it to be in the green, and I expect it. It'll be good for our oil sector tomorrow. I think that'll be true. We still don't yet have any movement on WTI, but we do have Brent up to 2.40 or 2.39, 2.46 now. All right. Rory, I had several $10 winners that day, but still lost over $400. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I come from a family who they have that mentality where there's like, oh, well, someday this will be different when I win the lottery. And I think of like my mom. I bet my mom pays, I would say weekly on 649. My mom probably drops, I don't know, $20, $40, somewhere between 20 and 40. I couldn't tell you the exact amount, but now take that. So here, let's pull up Google. We'll get Google to do this for us. All right, so my mom spends, well, let's just say, we'll go with a conservative $20. So $20 times, let's see, $20, actually, let's put in X times, And that's every week, so 52 weeks a year. And she's been doing this easily since she was about 30. So that's about 40 years. So let's put in the 40 years. All right, let's see if that will give me an answer here. There we go. Oh, well, not US. But so my mom has probably spent over her life $41,600 on lottery tickets. And that's just her normal 649. Now, you can argue that she did win 10,000 once. So, she's probably out about $30,000 over her life. Now, imagine if she put that 30,000 into investing instead and had compound returns over that time. That'd be another story. Actually, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me just see here. Compound calculator. That's all I want. All right, so investment growth. All right, yeah, we'll use a Fidelity one. I'm fine with that. So let's just take a look here. Initial investment is going to be 0. All right. Time to grow, we're going to do 40 years. Rate of return, we'll leave it at 5%. You know what? That's nice and conservative. Additional contributions, we're going to put in $20. And we want to go, I guess, all right, we guess it's going to have to be monthly. So we'll just put in $80 because, in some months it'll be higher, obviously. Inflation rate, tax rate. Okay. I don't care about that. All right, show turns. All right, yeah, okay. Now show me the returns. Let's see here. Investment. Okay, well, is there not something I can press on to see what this is going to look like? All right. Okay, well, yeah, no. This is it, I guess. All right. So, yeah, basically, yeah, here we go. So if she had just put that money into a simple investment over 40 years, she'd be looking at $17,944. All right, I've never used the site before, guys, but yeah, that's what be. So basically, almost $20,000, and probably if you count the weeks, the months where there's 5, I bet you she'd have about $20,000 instead of being out $30,000. So that's a difference of $50,000. So holy cow. All right, Larry says it's rub the oil on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Hannibal Lecter movies are good. Sue, I treat it as a lotto ticket, and yes, both videos are the CEO. Okay, fair enough. And that's what I want you to treat it as, Sue. That's the point I'm making, is treat it as a lottery ticket. Some fun money. Like, all right, I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to buy this ticket. Who knows? Maybe I'll win, maybe I won't. That would be the attitude that I would take with a penny stock for sure. Scott, I went out with a friend yesterday and ended up spending $140 over the course of the afternoon. When I look at entertainment spending, I equate that to spending on penny stocks. Yikes. Yeah, it adds up. It really can add up. It's crazy. Rory, gold is negative. Maybe I can get back into BTO. Taking care of business. I know. All right, let's head back to the charts. So yeah, look at this. Gold currently down 0.74. So it looks like materials is taking a hit. Oh yeah, look at this. Brent's still going crazy. WTI has now joined us too. So Brent's now up 3.30. WTI up 3.13. So we are looking at, here's the funny thing for the Canadian market though. It's really going to depend on what the banks do, I think. So tomorrow we're probably going to have a red day in materials and green day on oil. So will the oil pump be able to overcome the drop that we're going to have in materials? So that'll be the thing that we'll have to look at tomorrow. Right now, looking at the power of the oil, materials is not like totally tanking yet. So it could be interesting. Now, what is this doing to Bitcoin? Oh, this has dropped Bitcoin. Look at this. Bitcoin has started to fall. It's starting to fall back into my channel. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But keep in mind too, if it falls through this, we'll see if it bounces here or if it makes it down to here. So that'll be fun. Rory says H yield. Less than 16 would be nice tomorrow. Ready to press the button. Nice. Scott, the oil pump pun not intended. Okay, no problem. Actually, it wasn't. I wasn't actually punning. But yeah, I see now. Sometimes, have you ever done this, guys? And I think most of you probably have, where you make the most perfect pun ever, and then after you've made that perfect pun, you realize that you made the pun. And you were like, oh, I actually wasn't even trying to make a pun, and it just came out as the perfect pun. So, it's kind of like sometimes as well, you sometimes get somebody with the perfect burn. I'll give you a funny little story. So, uh, I was working with this guy once, and his boss came in the room, and he wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there, because he wanted more direction. So he looked to his boss, and his boss was like, "What are you doing?" And he looked at his boss. He says, "I'm revolting." And I just immediately said, "Oh God, you sure are." It was anyway. It was a perfect, and he caught it immediately and burst out laughing because it was just that perfectly placed pun. Burn. It was just I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself. Rory says puns and putts golf course. Ooh, that would be a great name for a miniature golf course. I've never played real golf. I have played miniature golf, and I'm really bad at it, but nonetheless. Ian says, I'm up 73% on GLDM. It was picked for me in my managed fund. I'm managing it now. It's not a good time to add to it. Not financial advice. And there we go. Oh, one thing I had intended to show you guys today is TMX. I just want to point a couple things out. So I know that we come over here and we look at some stocks, but if you go to the main front page of TMX, there's a lot of good stuff here, guys. A lot of good stuff. So scroll down below, and first of all, you can get, these are the top market movers. Now they do it for the day, but here's the thing. So right now, this would have been Friday. So right now, you'll notice here, price volume. So you choose what you want to see. So by volume, you can do, let's actually, you know what? Let's take a look at the dollar losers. So here we go. These were the big losers of the day. So you can actually go through a few things like this. So yeah, Fairfax. Fairfax really did bad on Friday. Then we got Hut 8, RB Global, Frank of Nevada. Bombardier down here. Agnico Eagle Mines. So that's the dollar losers. You can go to the dollar gainers. And we'll see at the top here, Constellation Software, Aritzia. Aritzia's been having a great year. Celestica, National Bank, Toromont, Hammond. Love seeing Hammond in here. Hammond Power Solutions. Love it. Canadian Imperial, Finning, Royal Bank, Bank of Montreal, IGM Financial. So yeah, kind of cool. You can also go to the US market if you want. So right here, this is the TSX. So if you wanted, for example, go to the New York Stock Exchange, the big one in the US was AutoZone, then BlackRock, GE Verona. So yeah, you can do that. Now, if we keep coming down, now over here, this is kind of nice too. They give you a little calendar on some of the shareholder meetings and such. So you will get some information over here. Now, if you keep going down though, you get some market news. So if you're looking for what's going on in the market, here you go, right over here. You also get some futures. So these are the Canadian futures. You get your top shorts, FX currency rates. If you wanted to find out what the yen's doing, you can come over here. Commodities over here. Now, here's a fun part. If you come down here, they got some stock lists, and these are fun because you can take a look at some of these. Like you can see, for example, we got these are 50 biggest dividends straight up. So obviously, a lot of them are going to be ones that you don't want to touch, but you will get some good ones in there as well. Once obviously, like here, let's go click on it. Here's the top 50 dividends. So number one, actually, it's Harvest. All right, Tesla, TSLY. So it's up here at the top with a 52.80% yield. Then we got Misty, Coinbase, and as you move down, like this is the way I would handle this: is I would pretty much ignore a lot of the stuff, and I'll move down and I'll try to find something that I'm like, okay, okay. Oh, here's something. Energy. Global X equal weight Canadian oil and gas. All right, that could be interesting. So, I might look at that one. And then you got some of the split cores in there as well. Now, that's that one. You also got here by top volume, top price performer, rising stars. So these are companies on the venture who are coming up. So it's kind of got that taste of penny stock, but, and I will click on them. Here's the beautiful thing. They're not penny stocks for the most part. Now some are. Like, look, here's one, Latin Explorer. That's a penny stock. But we've got things like Artemis Gold in here, Lumine Group. Topicus is in here. Although, oh boy, I don't know about, sometimes I worry a little bit. Oh, Alvo Petro is in here. I love Alvo Petro. Decisive Dividends in here. Another company. So there are companies in here I love. And this is sometimes, oh, here's Sailfish Royalty. So Sailfish, I have them in the challenge and they have turned around. They're actually in the green. So I'm liking it. But yeah, so anyway, this is just a neat little thing. Like if you're ever just like, I want to explore, maybe find a new stock, sometimes just going through here. You've also got Bitcoin and crypto listings. So if you want exposure to crypto, here are some companies that will give you exposure. And there's just a whole bunch in here. So for example, right down here, here's Ether, the Evolve Ether ETF. Here's Neptune Digital Assets. There's Hut 8, who had a horrible day on Friday. Bitcoin Treasury Corporation. There we go. So there's a few. It's just a way to get some interesting stocks that you can sort of play with. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys briefly that there's a whole bunch of really neat things. Like you can also go to all stock lists. Like there is actually more. So for example, you got a junior healthcare, junior consumers, junior. So these junior ones are kind of cool because these are going to be, in this case here, micro and small caps. So if you are looking for a junior materials, this is going to be it. Junior basic materials. Now they've only got, wow, they've only got 2 on this, do they? Oh, wow. In this case here, we got Ford CDR. Why is that in there? Okay. I haven't been in here in a long time. Next Era Energy CDR. Okay. Oh, those are CDRs. All right. Well, maybe that's not the best part to go, but there's a few different things in there. There's a few different things in there to play with and to look around for sure. Okay. And Claudia says, hi all, FIFA semifinals are Argentina versus England and France versus Spain. All right. So, all right, I want England to win. Oh, who between France and Spain? It's got to be France. I would like to see an England-France final. It's not like they've ever been to war with each other, but I think that would be cool. All right, England, France. That would be my unofficial bet. Scott, I had someone in the office ask if anyone had an aspirin, and another said, I've got Aleve, and the first person said, okay, see you later. I saw that coming, Scott. That's why it wasn't funny. It would have been funny if I didn't see it coming, but I did see it coming. Let's see. Are the Scots cheering on England? Definitely not. I meant to say, is it a good time to add? Not a good time to add. My proofreader doesn't work on Sundays. Fair enough. Fair enough. And what were we talking about again? Now I have to go back. I have to go back, Scott. Oh, GLDM. All right, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Well, if gold keeps going down today, it might be a better day tomorrow. So let's see here. So this is the SPDR Gold Mini Shares. All right, let's pull this up here. Okay. So yeah, interesting. I like, if you're investing long term in gold, I think any time right now is probably a good time to dollar cost average. This will probably be down a little bit on Monday if the current trends hold, which I think they will. So just something to keep in mind. All right. What do you think of F-Cell? Let's take a look. Is this a fuel cell company maybe? F-Cell. Yeah, fuel cell energy. All right, I've never looked at them, but the name was kind of self-obvious. Oh, look at this. All right, I like this. That's a pretty healthy spike. I don't know what's going on there with them, but let's see here. First of all, let's take a look. A clean energy technology company delivering continuous, scalable baseload power for mission-critical applications globally. Okay, fantastic. All right, I can get behind what they do. Let's quickly take a look in the back end. Uh-oh. So, all right, we got the two things. This has kind of been the story of today. Very low debt, so 4% debt to equity, but they're not profitable yet. At least this quarter, they weren't profitable, negative 33.94 return on equity. So I would want to know what's going on with that. So I would certainly investigate to find out if they made a big purchase. Did they do an expansion? Where did that cash flow go this month? And as long as it makes sense, yeah, I could get behind something like this, but I need to know the answer to that. And it needs to make sense to me. If it doesn't, then I wouldn't touch it. All right. Elaine says, take a leave. I've got a bad headache. Oh boy. Now we're starting to combine goats. But yeah, you see, Scott, you didn't get the goat. So, the bad stayed away. All right. Ian says, I want Spain to lose because they were so mean to the US and Trump. It was a true story. All right. Oh, really? Was it? It's hard to tell with you, Scott. It's hard to tell. All right, guys, we are getting close to the end here. We got about 12 minutes. If you have last-minute questions, get them on in. And you know what? We haven't had a goat in a while. I got so many goats. I'm going to just drop one. Let's see. Which one am I going to... I'm going to drop one here just for the heck of it. One that... Oh, you know what? Here's one we haven't seen in forever. Do I want to do that one? Maybe. We'll do. Oh, you know what? Let's do this one. We'll go to the gardening joke, just because a goat. Sorry, not joke. Because we haven't done it in forever. There we go. I just felt like dropping a goat. All right, now while you guys are pumping in those final questions, I'm going to very quickly have some coffee here. Whew, love it. Scott, why wouldn't you want to see a Messi versus Mbappe final? All right, could you please share your thoughts on CPCC? Accumulation time or theory is broken? Oh dear. First of all, let's bring up. Actually, you know what? Let's actually go to their site here for a second. Let's see here. Global X CPCC. Here we are. Perfect. So I love CPCC. So this is your Global X Copper Producer Equity Covered Call ETF. So it is basically writing covered calls on copper producers. Fantastic. Now, here's a couple of things I like about this. First of all, they give lots of room to grow. So 7.89%, that's a lot. That's a big space to have between the strike price and your spot price. So that's giving you a lot of room to capture a lot of that upside. I'm loving it. Now, they can write on up to 50%. They're only averaging around 36, so they're giving you lots of room to grow. So for that reason, I really like this fund. Now, the problem is right now, and let me pull this over, CPCC. The problem is with this fund right now is that materials have had it rough, and you can sort of see. So yeah, they're having a lot of volatility right now. I will say this: I am a hugely bullish on copper. I think copper is going to be huge. With that being said, even now, if you look at it, this is a fund that started out right around $20. It's up at 22, so you're well in if you got at when it opened. Now, if you jumped in at the top, like if you jumped in at $26, yeah, you are a little in the red right now. I do think that this one will recover. I think if I had to say, is it broken or is it in accumulation territory? I would say accumulation territory. I would say dollar cost average is not a bad way to go with this one. All right. Ian says, do we have a Monday show yet? We do actually. I could have just said, no, Ian, we don't. And then, then Ian drops a super, but no, I wouldn't do that. That would, once again, That goes back to deceptiveness. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, no, we have a show on Monday. So we actually had Samantha, TA, Sky, and Mary all came in today with super stickers. So thank you to you four, by the way. Yeah. Scott says, yes, Ian. Monday is a go. Claudia says exactly. Argentina versus Spain could be good too. Scott says, I'm shipping a France versus Argentina final. Did I use that right? Sure. Sure. And Mazamel says, thank you for your helpful insight. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's, I got something today. I was like, YouTube is, they had me review the channel member prices. So I was looking at it and I was like, okay, I'll review them. So I look at the channel member pricing and I'm like, all right, yeah, no, I said, I already told you guys, I'm happy with the pricing that we currently have. So I locked that in for, I think it locks in for a year. I don't know if I'm allowed to change it again for a year, but now they gave me a recommended price for a channel membership. They said, based on what you provide to your community, you should be charging $4.99. And I was just like, nope, I'm not charging $4.99. So yeah, I've locked in the price, the current price, for a year. I think, because it said you can only change the price once a year. Now, technically, I didn't change the price, so I might be able to, but I have no intention of changing it. I just thought it was funny. Last check on oil. All right, let's go back to oil one last time. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is almost, there we go. Bitcoin's back in the green. So oil right now, so Brent is currently up 3.32%. WTI up 3.05%. So looks like oil's holding pretty steady. I mean, maybe it'll come down by tomorrow, but it really depends. Something would need to happen, I think, to sort of simmer the emotions. Something would have to simmer the emotions between now and then, and I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, guys, holy banana bread. This was once again, you guys were awesome. This was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. We had lots to talk about. It was fun. We are back, by the way. No, I should go big screen. I should go big screen. Only reason I leave myself small screen is that whenever I go big screen, I forget to go small screen again. So what can I say? And Scott says, damn straight. Yep, that damn straight is causing more issues. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We got a market close coming. Oh, by the way, Tuesday night, guys, is of course after hours. So we'll have after hours Tuesday night for the channel members. And we'll get the game set up for next week. So a week from today, we're going to actually we're going to start the first part of our Canadian battleship. That's always so much fun. But all right, guys, until then, though, you guys have been a fantastic crowd. I can't wait till tomorrow. I will see you then. And I got a couple of words to say on my way out. And that is, well, you guys know what I'm going to say. It is bye-bye.